Hey, this is actually the most outrageous setup I've ever attempted. I've got the normal Sony camera balancing on a small beam in the hotel room here that's looking like a high wire out of a circus, and I have it propped up a little bit with the laptop flipped down and slightly angled at an obtuse angle in order to prop it up just a little bit so you can maybe see my face. I don't know what it looks like. You might be looking at just like my bottom chin, so I'm gonna look like the secretary from the Powerpuff Girls, but we're gonna run it anyway. So, as you can see, I'm still on my little expedition away from home. I'm in my hotel room. Don't be alarmed. I know I'm not wearing a white shirt, but this isn't a cry for help or anything. It's very cold. So, I threw on one of the only long sleeve shirts that I had available. So that's the whole explanation there. Anyway, the reason I have urgently scrambled here to get to this computer in order to talk about something is because a huge story has been developing over the last, I don't know, like 2 hours or something, where SSniperWolf has now doxed Jack's films. I'm sure this is something that a lot of you are moderately familiar with, but I'll just go ahead and give you the really brief nutshell rundown of what's going on. I didn't make that cut right there on purpose. This has nothing to do with the whole video, but I need to mention this. The camera just fell on its own and stopped the recording, so we may have an angry poltergeist incident in here. I'm gonna have to get the fucking Luigi's Mansion vacuum out and just start going to town in here to clear the area, exorcise whatever spirits happen to be haunting this room. But I'm gonna finish the video regardless, but if you see my eyes roll into the back of my skull and I start levitating off the chair during it, just know, it's a haunting in Pittsburgh here. Or perhaps the cringe was too unbearable here with the subject we're covering. But anyway, back on topic. SSniperWolf, huge channel. She mainly does TikTok reacts, which has made her the punching bag of the internet recently. She's caught more fire than the sequel to the Hunger Games because a lot of people have been stating that what she does isn't really reacting to content, it's mainly just stealing it, freebooting it. And the entire internet has come together like this giant singularity and all collapsed onto SSniperWolf as well as some other React channels as well for this type of content. And by far the biggest soldier on the front line of this battle is Jack's Films. Jack's Films made a whole video going over why what she does isn't acceptable and even made an entire channel dedicated to making fun of her and her content. And he even has an entire bingo game that takes the piss out of her content more than a catheter takes the piss out of a hospital patient. He has pretty much daily uploads of just making fun of each of her daily reacts. This ongoing feud has been escalating and continuing for quite some time. We're in like season 5 of this anime arc here, and it's only popping off more and more. And this whole situation has led to a can of worms opening. Pandora's box has been unleashed. So it's been a massive conversation across the entire internet with tons of content creators weighing in on it, such as Dark Viper having an entire series on React content. Mudahar's made quite a few pieces on it as well, just tons of channels that have all been talking about it recently. And it's led to this witch's cauldron, this stew that's been brewing and bubbling, and now the cup runneth over, and all of this has spilt from the internet to the real world. Allegedly, SSniperWolf has just doxed Jack's Films. In an Instagram post, she posted this. And it was more than just this picture here. Apparently, she even posted one of his house, which obviously I'm not going to show you. I'm not here to just like hop on and give you like a 4K display of Jack's Films dojo here because SSniperWolf posted it on her story. It's just an extremely degenerate, fucked up response to this whole situation from SSniperWolf here. It's borderline illegal, I think. I don't think you can just dox somebody like this. And if it's not illegal, it's against YouTube's rules at the very least. And it violates the Geneva Convention of Internet Content Creators, where you never take internet beef into the real world. It's just going too far with this whole thing. Jack's Films was just making critiques on her content as well as making fun of it, which is something everyone does all the time, every single fucking day. And to go to this extreme where you dox him for it is just an incomprehensible, insano-style step. Now, Jack's Films posting about this on Twitter obviously gained a lot of traction. This isn't exactly some kind of like whoops-a-daisy moment, you know, a mistake that could happen to anyone. This is some pretty malicious shit. There's not really a defense of it. You can't just make the claim like, well, I just wanted to kind of talk it out face to face. Like, no. That's not how this works. You don't go up to someone's house like you're about to try and sell them solar panels in order to hash out your internet beef unannounced. especially not in the middle of the night too. That's threatening. Like that is not a normal, sane way of handling things. So when this started getting traction, Sniper Wolf herself caught on to it and deleted the post and then said this. She said, accusing me of doxing is defamation. I have no idea how to dox. He literally posted his address on Google and said I threatened him and doxed him. Jax Films said, you posted a video tonight of you outside our home to your 5+ million followers to see while my wife and I were inside. I can't make it any simpler than that. If that's not doxing, why did you delete it? That's kind of a checkmate moment right there. He got her with the scholar's mate. Like, you showed up to his house unannounced in the middle of the night, and then when people started to point out how that's not acceptable behavior and is very much in line with doxing, you deleted it. So you can recognize that it's bad. I don't really know how you'd Phoenix write an argument together that it's not doxing. Like, I don't even understand the statement she makes about saying that Jax Films posted his address on Google. She's talking about Google like it's the GameFAQs.com board. Like, I don't think he made a sponsored paid post with just his address as the first thing that comes up when you type in Jax Films. You definitely would have to go out of your way to find that information. I don't think he, like, geotagged his spot, made it like a Pokemon Go stop, and, like, really was advertising where he lives. Like, this is not common information. You went out of your way to find it and then went to his address. Like, I just really can't think of any justification for it. I've seen a couple of people huffing massive amounts of copium, nearly toxic levels of copium, saying, like, she went there to handle things like an adult, unlike Jax Films, who just speaks behind a computer. And that's just straight up delusional, if you ask me. No normal people are going to hash out their internet beef in the middle of the night in person, unannounced, right? Like, going up to his house like she's about to, sell solar panels to him or something and ambush him with this conversation about this feud they have is not normal or acceptable. It's just like a malicious, weird thing to do. And wow, that man, a ghost just haunted my vocal folds on that one with that voice crack. Goodness gracious. Overall, I'm just shocked that Sniper Wolf, with as long as she's been on the internet and as large as she is, would think for even just a second that she'd somehow be able to get out of this situation without huge backlash and problems from it. Again, this is something that extends beyond just like normal internet etiquette. This is like downright against rules to do something like this. So I definitely think Jax Films is in the right here. He's very upset about it, probably a little concerned because, who knows who else might go to his house next since she posted it on a massive Instagram account. Like, that is a legitimate fear. She also posted this, again in response to the whole situation, saying this creep has been harassing me for months, then plays victim, saying I threatened him when I just wanted to talk to him. I have no ill intentions. It's so sad when people have to constantly create drama to pay their bills. But this doesn't make any sense. Like, this is a crazy straw of a statement. It's taken all kinds of weird twists and turns that aren't computing in my little noodle up here. If you just wanted to talk to him, why wouldn't you just reach out to him through normal channels online? I'm sure he would have responded to you instantly. He seems to respond to everyone about everything in regards to the entire React situation. So I feel like if you had reached out to him, he would have been thrilled to talk to you about it. But again, I'm not his fucking PR guy. I don't know. Maybe you did reach out to him and he didn't see it or he ignored it. I have no idea. But regardless, you going to his house to try to talk to him that's some psychopath shit. That's not a normal thing that anyone should be doing. There's other channels that you could have tried beforehand. Go to one of his bingo nights on Twitch and be like, hey, listen, Buster, I'm ready to hash it out. Let's talk. And again, I'm sure he probably would have seen that. And that would be a lot less scary than having you show up in the middle of the fucking night to his home unannounced. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I think the goal here was to either scare him or put his information out there to maybe some less than savory individuals that could also scare him. I don't know, but regardless, the way you handled this is atrocious and dangerous. Like, downright, like, dangerous thing to do. So I totally understand the response from Jax Films about this and being frightened by it, because this is fucked up. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I think this is one of the rare cases of a huge YouTuber making a massive blunder like this, where you would step on like actual rules and potentially laws all over some internet beef. Right now, SSniperWolf is a lot like the aliens on the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney World, just getting blasted. Every single corner of the internet is coming together to talk about the SSniperWolf situation and the doxing against a fellow YouTuber, Jax Films. From the surface to the shadowy underbelly of the internet, everyone is discussing it. YouTubers, Redditors. If Yahoo Answers still existed, there'd be 50 threads about this by now. I mean, it is everywhere. It's remarkable how big it's become. I'll give you the brief nutshell on it in case you don't know what I'm referring to, but I know you do. If you're watching this video right now on the internet, you are at least loosely familiar with who she is and what she just did, because she just broke one of the 10 commandments of being online. She took an internet dispute into the god-forsaken wasteland we call the corporeal dimension, the real world. Wake the fuck up, samurai. Usually internet beef is just served up medium rare online, but she served this beef medium dare you to commit a crime. Man, that shit was lame. But kind of like Dr. Seuss rhyming that one, actually, kind of fire. But what I'm saying is, what started as just Jax Films making fun of SSniperWolf for her content and pointing out that what she's doing is bad, escalated into her being so upset about it that she found his address, went to his address, posted it on her Instagram, not the address per se, but just posted his house on her Instagram, bragging about it, saying, you know, it's time we talk it out like adults. Which, of course, is the furthest thing from talking it out, unless, of course, you're an unhinged lunatic. This is just senseless yapping to try and justify what she did here. You can't do that. It's borderline criminal. So she posted it, 5 million of her Instagram followers to see, which, of course, made Jax Films and his wife feel very unsafe in their home. And since then, she hasn't said anything about it. I think it's only a matter of time before she makes an apology video. It's really just an if instead of, nope. The expression is, it's a matter of when instead of if. I think it's inevitable. The only thing that remains to be seen is where it's going to rank on the YouTuber apology tier list. So that's the only question I have left about that. But this is only the beginning of a really bad week for SSniperWolf. She's having a worse week than King Kong fans right now with the release of the worst fucking game of the year, Rise of Kong. She also had a lot of people digging through her catalog of content, and they found something very not good. Very, weird, let's say. I can't show you anything here because I think there is a chance that it's completely against YouTube's terms. It's her encouraging some seemingly underage individuals to do some degenerate acts on video, and the way she encouraged them was almost like a wager you'd see out of a bad Brazzers film. She wagered her tits, saying that if these underage-looking individuals did what she asked them to do, she'd show tits. This was a video back in like 2014. They do it, and then one of the kids' moms walks in. It's like very fucking odd, awful shit. And this is just another, alarming thing that SSniperWolf has in the backlog of her lore. As I was rendering this video, people found another seemingly illegal, potentially, piece of content that SSniperWolf has on her channel. In this video, she's talking to strangers on Omegle, and then she meets this girl who says that she's 16, and then agrees to show each other their boobs, and the 16-year-old flashes the camera, which SSniperWolf does censor, but that doesn't make it okay. I'm pretty sure that's still illegal. You can't just have an underage person being sexual on video and then just say, hey, wait a minute, Buster, it's fine because it's censored. It's like, what the fuck? And the video is still up right now. And in the whole clip, it's not like there was some just kidding, not actually 16, actually in my 20s. There was nothing like that. After that happens, SSniperWolf just said that, she's fake like her or whatever, and then disconnects. So it really seems like she just had a minor flash the camera on a YouTube video.
It's fucking crazy. Now I'm going to go ahead and mention something I've seen a few comments talking about to explain what actually happened in this clip here. And I don't know if this is like the SSSniperWolf Defense Squadron operating under DEF CON protocol, so they're in full force trying to figure out any way of explaining this really awful shit. But I'm going to go ahead and share this anyway, just to be complete with the subject. There's some people saying that that wasn't actually a 16-year-old, it was a bot that was just spamming the chat, and SSniperWolf was like reacting to it, knowing it was a bot, knowing it wasn't an actual 16-year-old, and that the person, the girl in the video clip, was just a like cam model or something that's supposed to drive people to some kind of cam site. I don't know enough about Omegle to know if that's something that happens, but regardless, this is still an extremely concerning clip. But rest assured, SSniperWolf fans, there's still one person, rather one entity, still very much on the side of SSniperWolf, and that's YouTube. This is the update I want to give today. It wasn't so much just going over like where everything's at here. It's YouTube's response to all this, because it is so big, and doxing is, you know, it's borderline criminal, of course. What would YouTube's response be? They have cracked down on that kind of activity very hard in the past. So obviously, most people were expecting some kind of action to be taken. It's just wondering what. So far, they've only made like vague references to it or vaguely talked around it. There hasn't been any kind of statement from them about what they plan to do about this situation, aside from a couple of tidbits that they've talked about that seem to indicate that they're not going to do anything. But I don't think anything's 100% confirmed as like this is the path they're taking. But they have publicly made this tweet in the midst of all this. Would it be too meta to do a reaction video to a reaction video? Which is such a lame fucking ChatGPT generated tweet. That is like the most how do you do fellow kids shit ever, and comes at the worst possible time because SSniperWolf is a reactor to TikTok content and all that, so clearly this is very poorly timed, unless of course this is their way of like trying to show support for SSniperWolf, which it very well could be. They have made a lot of tweets about her, all very positive. In fact, this whole situation between Jax Films and SSniperWolf really started catching fire when YouTube themselves made a tweet saying, "Where does SSniperWolf get her ideas?" And then they also made another one talking about how like SSniperWolf is our turbo super creator of the year. Unbelievable. So just like these very, very positive, pumping their fist SSniperWolf fan tweets. This one, of course, got community noted. For additional context, it needs to be known that this tweet was written in the wake of a controversy regarding a reaction YouTuber, SSniperWolf, who recently leaked the personal information of a fellow creator on the platform, Jax Films, and then it cites one of the many sources. I almost can't help but be impressed and appreciate how bold this tweet from YouTube is here, though. To just drop this shit. Would it be too meta to react to a reaction video? Oh, like, they know this is going on. Like, they have loosely acknowledged the situation in a couple of tweets. Like, they know this is happening because everyone on the internet knows that this is happening right now. This is the hottest shit there is. This shit is leaving the toilet bowl steaming, it's so hot. They can't be oblivious to it. But whatever ghoul is running this account must be really kept isolated in some kind of sensory deprivation tank, cut off from the rest of the world, and forced to just occasionally drop a bad tweet, because there is just some crazy disconnect here to think that this tweet was a good idea. Because I really don't believe that what they're trying to do with this is, you know, slyly, you know, hey, SSniperWolf's pretty fucking awesome, right? Like in the middle of this, I don't think they'd be that dumb. I don't think they'd be that stupid. I really think this is just like a poorly timed bad tweet from them. Of course, I have no evidence to corroborate that theory. It's just me here thumbing my ass, just speculating. It's at the end of the day, it's just a game theory. I just really don't believe that they would be so bold to just, in the middle of this, give like a big nod to SSniperWolf. The entire internet is waiting on bated breath to see what they're going to do. Jax Films is calling for like demonetization or like even deplatforming because of the severity of the rule breaking. A lot of other people are rallying behind those things as well. The bare minimum people are looking to see is some kind of punishment issued to SSniperWolf here in order to, you know, prove to the community that YouTube isn't playing favorites when it comes to their most extreme rules. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request to just want to know, what are you going to do about it, YouTube? Because this is a big deal, and this is something that other creators in the past have gotten big trouble for. So why would SSSniperWolf get a pass on that? And if she does, can you explain why? Right? Like, there'd have to be a reason for it. I think the obvious reason would be she brings in so much money to the platform, and YouTube loves her so much that they wouldn't ever take action against her even if she went on camera and slit the throat of 5 puppies. But just communicate what you're going to do here. Like, I don't think this is a situation that would take a super long time for them to decide what they're going to do. So I'm kind of under the assumption that they're not going to do anything about it. They might make another more direct acknowledgement of it, but they'll probably just be a more slap on the wrist. But again, I'm just spitballing here based on YouTube's past, because there is favoritism on the platform, as there is on every other platform. YouTube's no exception there, and I think it's pretty clear that she's going to get some kind of special treatment when it comes to this rule breaking, which really sucks. And like, the damage is very much done to Jax Films and his wife. As he mentioned, they don't really feel safe in their home anymore, which is totally understandable. She dumped a picture of their house for all of her 5 million followers to see. And on Instagram, I think the followers there are going to be a degree higher in terms of their support of SSniperWolf than like her YouTube audience. Like, I think those are going to be where the super fans are, and they probably fucking hate Jax Films, and now they have this. It makes sense why he'd feel unsafe. I mean, it's a pretty evil thing to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if she got even more diabolical with it and turned his house into like a Pokemon Go stop or something. Like, really just trying to put their location out there as best she could. And she did make another post that Jax Films also made a tweet about, where she was poking fun at this situation lightly, saying like, we pull up to your house, what would you do? Which is so unbelievably tone deaf that she doesn't understand the severity of what she did. The whole situation is fucked. I just wanted to give a little update here because it's already been like 5 days. So that's where everything's at. I guess we'll continue to wait and see what YouTube will or will not do. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Well. What a day. This was quite a shocking twist here, like a Darman climax. We had YouTube finally issue a statement on what they're doing about the SSniperWolf doxing situation, and we had SSniperWolf herself, the life of the party, come forward and make an apology post. And what a wacky ride it's been. And in the wise, timeless words of Captain Barbossa, you best start believing in cringe stories. You're in one. Because this is an absolute fucking headache. I know I don't really need to give you any kind of lore breakdown to bring you up to speed because of how huge this story's become, but it just doesn't feel right if I don't at least set the table with some silverware, just in case you're a little hungry and don't know what's going on. So, the briefest bullet points. Jax Films is a huge YouTuber. He called out another huge YouTuber named SSniperWolf for her reaction content to TikToks, where she was basically just blatantly stealing it, not really transforming it, and he criticized her for it. He even made a whole channel dedicated to making fun of her and criticizing her for it further. So this led to this big stew of emotions and bad blood between the two of them. The stew bubbled over and started to spill when SSniperWolf decided to dox Jax Films on her Instagram story, where she showed up at his house and posted his house to her 5 million followers on Instagram, which obviously you can't do. That's a criminal act. SSniperWolf shows up at Jax Films' door like the fucking hash-slinging slasher here, trick-or-treating when she wasn't invited, and claims that she was just trying to talk it out like adults, even though this is not how adults handle any kind of situation. You can't just dox someone that you have beef with online. So the question then became, what is YouTube going to do about it? Because not only is this not allowed legally, it's not allowed on YouTube's terms, period. And historically, YouTube has been cutthroat with this kind of thing. They do not take doxing lightly. So it's been about a week, and YouTube has finally broken their silence on what they plan to do. And man, what a fucking stinker. Boy howdy, it would be less smelly in a porta potty. Take a peek at their tweet here. Today they spat this drivel out, confirming SSniperWolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies.
Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better place. They actually just unironically dropped a both sides in this situation. That is one of those things where you read it and it's like a flashbang hits you. Like all your senses go out and you have to question if what you just read was real. I don't even know how they were able to reach deep enough in their ass to pull out a both sides statement for this one. Like, what did he do wrong? I don't know why they're trying to make it sound like he's also guilty in this, or maybe even, somewhat responsible and to blame for how this played out, which is kind of how it reads, like they're fucking victim blaming him here. Like, what was his crime? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? This is democracy manifest. That's a classic Charles Doza line. I just had to slide in there. That just felt natural. But yeah, again, what did Jax Films do wrong? He is completely blameless here. There's no reason why they should be trying to make it sound like Jax Films did something wrong. His only crime was being alive, which gave her the means to target him. Like, I really can't wrap my head around how they could even make it seem like Jax Films is even remotely in the wrong here. If they're trying to say that the criticisms that he keeps tossing towards SSSniperWolf is unwarranted, so the behavior is unacceptable, then that's even more delusional, because there's nothing wrong with criticisms. There's nothing wrong with making fun of SSniperWolf's content. He has literally done nothing that warrants any level of blame or warrants this kind of response from SSniperWolf to fucking dox him and publicly dox him and show up to his house. This was YouTube's chance for a big W here to finally prove they don't play favorites even with their most lucrative cash cows. This is one of those actions where it should have resulted in a harsh punishment, and YouTube had the opportunity to showcase, listen, we're gonna put the rumors to bed once and for all. There's no favoritism on this platform. We all play by the same rules. We all, put our pants on one leg at a time. SSniperWolf is getting punished for doxing. We don't take it lightly. But they didn't. They were extremely slow and very clearly extremely reluctant to take even the lightest bit of action against her. A temporary monetization suspension isn't the harshest punishment in the world. It is still a punishment, yes, but it's still more of like a slap on the wrist. We don't know how temporary it is. It could be like a fucking 10-hour monetary suspension. Like, this is actually the scene in SpongeBob. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Shuts the door. Okay, you're free to go. And it's like just 2 seconds has elapsed. It's just not really what most people would have expected from this, because it's not really enough for most people, given the gravity of the situation here, where Jax Films and his wife don't feel safe in their own home as a result of all of this. So this seems like a situation that they did just because they felt like they had to. There was too much backlash for them to continue to bury their head, so they did like the teeniest, tiniest little tiptoe into the pool of punishment, and they issued this temp monetization halt on SSniperWolf's content. I imagine once all of this blows over, they'll flip it back on and it'll be back to business as usual for SSniperWolf and YouTube. I'm sure she'll RSVP at the next, creator summit for YouTube. Like, it's just not really satisfactory for the majority of people here. And to top it all off, it's the way YouTube delivers it. Again, trying the both sides thing is just, it's so crazy and delusional. Now, SSniperWolf did also issue an apology post. She couldn't even be bothered to do an apology video. She put it on Twitter, which is by far her least large platform, to try and keep as many eyes off of it as she can from her audience. So, at least as of right now, as of me making this, she hasn't made an apology video for her actual core audience to see. The timing of her apology statement is also very interesting because it comes almost immediately after YouTube's post. So this leads me to believe that SSniperWolf and YouTube had some kind of handshake agreement where it'll be like a light punishment as long as she makes an apology on Twitter, and she obliged. Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my most recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jax Films, YouTube, the entire creator community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example for appropriate conflict resolution. Jax Films, while we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did when I should have taken the opportunity to show young creators how adults and professionals resolve conflict by communicating directly, respectfully, and privately. Not for views or content, but a meaningful example of how conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully.
I'd also like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. I deserve it. Respect the decision and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from a true lapse in judgment. I don't really have too many thoughts on her apology. Anytime I even hear the phrase or read the phrase lapse in judgment, I just immediately think of the Logan Paul apology video. But there's really nothing she can say here. What she's done is absolutely indefensible. It's also very unlikely that she's being genuine here. Like, I don't think she feels remorse for it or anything. She did immediately make light of it by saying, "We pull up to your house, what are you going to do?" on her Instagram story following all of this. So this really does seem like this was kind of forced on her by YouTube. Not even the backlash from her audience or everyone online. I think she still believes that what she did is okay. It's just YouTube made her do this. That's my working game theory here. That's the impression I get when she says thanks to YouTube for holding her accountable. That seems really fake. YouTube isn't really holding her accountable. Temporarily suspending her monetization is a punishment, sure, but it's not exactly one that fits the crime, which is why so many people are dissatisfied with this whole situation and the way that it's concluding here. Unfortunately, it does seem like this is where the situation is wrapping up, and I don't think a lesson has been learned by SSniperWolf nor by YouTube. I truly think that all of the backlash over the last week, the millions upon millions of people that have been talking about it nonstop, did not matter at all to either party. They just felt at some point, okay, fine, we'll do a little something so you guys can just shut up about it. And that's what we saw today. Pretty disappointing stuff overall. That's about it. So yeah. Is your tummy grumbling? Your stomach empty? I don't know if you've eaten yet, but I'm going to feed you regardless, so open wide because here comes the airplane. Surprise! We're feasting on a delicate cuisine of more SSniperWolf drama. A nutritious part of every complete meal. It's been 4 weeks since the doxing of Jack's films, and since then I've made like 2 follow-ups because it's just been this snowball that's turned into an avalanche of dog shit that continues to develop. She's a Darman star, so to put it in Darman terminology so we're all on the same page, this is what happens in the dark coming to light. Before getting into the newest situation revolving around her, I'll just go ahead and give you a little follow-up to the previously on Dragon Ball Z developments. So it's been 3 weeks since the last time I talked about it. That was when she made an apology, which she misspells Jack's film's name in multiple times, which showcases a clear lack of giving a fuck about it. And then also, it was when YouTube weighed in saying that they're going to temporarily suspend her monetization. They didn't specify the length of time, but I'll just go ahead and tell you it's been 3 weeks now, and she is still demonetized from everything I can see. Going in on incognito mode, turning off ad block, going in on mobile, there are no ads playing on her main channel videos. So it seems that they still are slapping her down there in the old piggy bank. And if I'm being honest, like a fork in an electrical outlet, I am shocked. I cannot believe that she's still demonetized. I thought for sure it would only last a week, maybe 2 weeks as things start to blow over, and then they just secretly flip that switch back on and monetize it. They haven't. It has been 3 weeks, and she is still not monetized. Now, this does kind of lead into a subject people were talking about quite a bit a few weeks back, where SSniperWolf found a way to circumvent this by uploading old content onto another one of her channels, which at the time was monetized. It was this channel, and from my understanding, it is no longer monetized. I also went on incognito mode, fucking full raw, no rubber, no ad block, anything at all, went on the channel, and there's still no ads. So it seems like that did get demonetized, if it ever was monetized in the first place, and this led to a whole new can of worms being opened about whether or not SSniperWolf is ban evading, which violates another one of YouTube's policies, since she got demonetized on her main channel, and in order to keep making money off content, she posted it on another one. And of course, it is very interesting that the last upload there was 3 weeks, even though it was consistent up until that point, meaning probably when it got demonetized, she stopped doing it. So, personally, I'll weigh in on that quickly. I don't think that's ban evading by the actual terms of service with YouTube. Is it scummy? Absolutely. But she didn't get away with it. They did act quickly in demonetizing it, at least from what I can tell. So I don't think she's going to be like punished for that in any big way. They're just going to continue to keep her demonetized, which again is a mind-boggling thing. I thought that was all just going to be a bunch of lip service, a bunch of hoo-ha nonsense from YouTube, like, oh yeah, no, we're taking real action, we're very serious about this. No more ads for 12 hours. But no, it has been a decent chunk of time. I mean, like, relatively speaking, I don't remember how long Logan Paul was demonetized for after the Forest incident, but like, it has been a lot longer than I thought they would do. And I really feel like it's not because they wanted to. They probably did fully plan on this being a very short punishment, like a very tiny slap on the wrist. But SSniperWolf finds drama more often than bees find flowers to pollinate. Like, just like a fart in a car, she can't escape it. Like, she keeps falling into more and more controversy. So that brings us to the most recent thing that's happening right now, where she is being accused of basically stealing her whole format. So Nerd City made a video covering this and even interviewing the person that SSniperWolf has been accused of copying from. Her name is Azzyland. I do think it's worth mentioning that Azzyland seems to want to just highlight SSniperWolf's hypocrisy and history of being a hypocrite, less so accusing her of stealing her original works or anything. She's more so trying to focus on, like, how hypocritical it is that she would take some of the stances she does, even noticing all of what she's done, which gets brought up in the video, as well as a lot of other things that have surfaced from it. And this kind of blew up into a pretty big story because also prior to this, she was accused of faking her gameplay back when she was making gameplay videos, and that was a whole other huge pile of drama that I never even bothered to talk about because it was so many moving parts to it. I swear to God, to cover all the controversy she's been in would be a video longer than Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it'd be like a really complicated thing to even dive into the meat and potatoes of. You'd end up writing an entire book that's more difficult to decipher than the Silmarillion from Tolkien. Like, it is a lot. It's a ton. So I'm just going to focus on, like, the most recent ones here, but there is a whole history of it when it comes to, like, fake videos and videos that she's tried to bury in the past, which leads more people to believe Azzyland here that SSniperWolf might have also just stolen from her too, because this wouldn't be the first time potentially. But anyway, let's get into it just a bit. Interestingly enough, and I hope you're sitting down because if you're standing up it's going to knock you over, she's already responded to these claims, which is like 10 times faster than she responded to the Jax Films doxing situation, which just gives you a little peek into her psyche and how twisted she views things and what her priorities are, where compromising an entire family's safety, nothing. Shouldn't even really warrant an apology whatsoever. Big old nothing burger with a side of french fries. Call the wambulance, you little baby. What are you crying about, huh? Get over it. She even went on to make jokes about it, like on her Instagram story. Her sister came out and said, like, does he not know how to fight? Like, so clearly she didn't take that seriously at all. But this, being accused of copying TikTok reacts, oh, it's go time. Now she's on the front lines ready for war in the trenches. So she posted a response to it. She quote tweeted this Dexerto article that says SSniperWolf has been accused by fellow YouTuber Azzyland of copying her content, stealing her presenting style, inciting harassment from fans, and lying with fake evidence to cover her tracks. Just kind of going over the bare bones of what the accusations are, where they compare thumbnails, they compare the content itself, and even like some of the things they talk about during the reacts. And SSniperWolf then says, I have a backup of videos and screenshots before she changed the thumbnails to make it look like I copied her. I have proof she copied my thumbnails, SEO, the way I speak, the jokes I make. The way you're trying to manipulate this is fraud. And you will be hearing from her lawyers, I'm sure. What an incredible case that would be. Oh, that would be a real page-turner to read that. To me, that sounds like a lawsuit that has all the makings of an iconic classic, like the Billy Mitchell lawsuit against Cartoon Network because an episode of the regular show made him look stupid. So I'm curious to see if she actually does try and go like a legal route here in this situation. She then continues saying, the fact that you can just go on a video and lie about everything is insane to me. And then she shows some side-by-side comparisons of their videos and thumbnails and titles to showcase the similarities and accuse her of actually being the nefarious villain that's copied SSniperWolf.
She drops some more evidence from the case files here, saying I have a screenshot of you uploading the same video as me minutes after I upload multiple on occasions. And then the example she gives is SSSniperWolf uploaded 22 minutes ago, creative people on another level, and Azzyland uploaded 12 minutes ago, so 10 minutes after that, with creative people who are on another level. A community note then came out of nowhere with a big steamin' revelation that said, this doesn't prove anything. The videos cited for evidence only have a similar title and don't contain the same thumbnail or clips, 1 and 2. Both Azzyland and SSSniperWolf have created videos with almost the same title before, showcasing that this isn't exactly the slam dunk she thinks it is. It doesn't even use the same clips, only the title is the same, and there's other examples of similar titles being shared between them. At the end of the day, it's TikTok Reacts. It's like the simplest thing ever. There's probably like 10 other YouTubers that have this exact same format and style that may have even preceded them. It's something that tons and tons of YouTubers will just shit out. But I'm not here to really dive into the quality of the content. It's more so the claim and all of the evidence presented for it. And based on everything in the Nerd City video, as well as a couple of other things that have been revealed, it really does seem like SSSniperWolf directly tried to copy from Azzyland in quite a few aspects, even outside of just like thumbnails and all of that. And at the very least, drew huge inspiration from it, if I'm going to be extremely charitable and generous. There are a ton of similarities, in an outrageous amount for it to just be a coincidence, in my opinion. But I guess I can't say for certain who stole from who here, because again, the content is something that so many others on the platform are constantly pumping out. But again, the evidence that is available does seem to indicate Azzyland was the victim of SSniperWolf stealing from her content, and then SSniperWolf kind of started a lot of bad blood between them because of it. Like, it seems like there were cases of her instigating fights and like trying to weaponize her fans to like say, you know, Azzyland's a doppelganger that's stealing from me, this and that, copying my homework and whatever. Yeah, that's just kind of the whole situation boiled down into its bare bones here, the bare necessities. And some people are wondering if YouTube's going to step in again and punish her further. I highly doubt it. But like I mentioned earlier, I think this is a contributing factor for why she's staying demonetized, because she keeps getting into situations like this, and YouTube knows if they flip on the monetization now, there's going to be a ton of eyes on it, and it's going to cause them problems as well. So they keep just, you know, gripping on tight and waiting for things to blow over before they turn her monetization back on. That's my little game theory, but again, to address that question, I really don't think YouTube's going to do anything here. I don't really even know if there is like a violation of a policy YouTube has if you're taking like content ideas from others and doing it yourself. Like, maybe it could fall under spam content potentially, which is something YouTube does take stances against occasionally, but even then I highly doubt they would use that against SSniperWolf. So I don't think there's going to be anything that comes from this on YouTube's side, but it's once again another huge hit to SSniperWolf's already tarnished reputation, and the drama just keeps unfolding around her. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little update here on everything going on with that, and that's about it. So yeah. I don't know what's happened to the YouTube ecosystem, but there are some villains that have infiltrated deep into the mainframe, spreading an infection. It's pure pandemonium and chaos. And I don't mean like genius villains, like we're not talking light Yagami here. We're talking bumbling moron villains like a Saturday morning cartoon character from Fairly Odd Parents, someone Timmy Turner would do battle with. Like, I'm talking about these narcissistic YouTubers that for some reason are so trigger happy with strikes all of a sudden that it's completely thrown off the balance of the entire website. And I think YouTube themselves need to take action to put the kibosh on fraudulent strikes. It's just so out of hand. Like a week ago, I made a video talking about how Tech Lead continues to be a pathetic worm that's just squirming around issuing false strikes to anyone that hurts his feelings. Luckily, those are now being unsuccessful because YouTube has stepped in and automatically been smiting that dog shit. In the same video, I talked about the connoisseur of cringe getting off of his throne to issue a fraudulent strike to a YouTuber that made fun of him, copyright striking him over 13 seconds of his clip being played in the commentary YouTuber's jokes. I've actually got a fresh little update for you right out of the oven here. Brand spanking new. It involves, once again, the sensitive cyborg, the Manny Show. The Manny Show acts like he's a vampire and jokes are the garlic, or better yet, the wooden stake being driven into their heart. It's unbelievable just how much the Manny Show hates people having an opinion of them. Like any criticism. Previously, the channel he struck, Penguinz, had over 600,000 subs, a large channel. The channel that they just now tried to strike is a channel that had 27,000 subs at the time of the strike, and is a 16-year-old.
I had gotten warnings that the Manny Show was copyright striking videos criticizing him, but I didn't think he would notice my channel. I mean, he has 12 million subs and is 23 years old. I'm a minor, 16 with 20,000 subs. Surely he wouldn't do that to me, but he did. I received an email that the Manny Show, yes, his full name was on it, which I won't show out of the respect for his privacy, but yeah, that he had reported me.
Now, fortunately, YouTube, once again, actually automatically declined this dogshit request. If you look at the request there, the Manny Show tried to issue a strike based on 8 seconds of their video being used on this YouTuber's channel. So, tried once again to strike this channel, but YouTube said enough is enough, no more fishy business, and they decided not to do that, which is very nice. So that makes me believe that they're aware that the Manny Show is a bad actor who abuses the strike system on the platform. So hopefully YouTube will take action against not only the Manny Show, but TechLead as well, since these are two notorious examples of blatantly abusing this system, which is a legal system, by the way. Like, what they're doing, you can't really do. You're not really allowed to do that. So hopefully the Manny Show will face just punishment for that, as well as TechLead. But there is now a new YouTuber who has entered into this equation here. We got the big three: the Manny Show, TechLead, and SSSniperWolf. Yep, she took her lack of talent right to the YouTube headquarters here to strike a channel because it hurt her feelings. So the channel that received the strike is One Giant Onion. This is actually a very big channel, and what the video was One Giant Onion did a watching SSSniperWolf's content until I laugh challenge, and it was like a 3-hour video, and the joke was she doesn't make him laugh, so it was a long video going through her content and reacting to it. Now, technically, you could argue One Giant Onion was in the wrong because he took 3 hours worth of her content and didn't transform it. He just sat there, not giving a ton of input and definitely not laughing at it, because that was the joke. SSniperWolf doesn't make anyone laugh, thus this was a 3-hour video with no one having any fun. However, SSniperWolf doesn't own her own content either. She steals it. She doesn't have the right to that content that she's reacting to in the first place, thus she shouldn't be able to strike One Giant Onion for reacting to that content. Like, she owns her reactions, but that's like 5% of that 3-hour video because she doesn't add fucking anything to the videos that she posts. It's just the uninterrupted content that she steals from others. She is literally a content thief. Jax Films has a whole series breaking that down. I don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of it. But she just copyright struck One Giant Onion for content she herself doesn't even actually own.
Today I logged onto my YouTube account to change the thumbnail of one of my videos, and I was met with something very shocking. I actually have received a strike on my channel. Now, at first I was really confused because I haven't done anything wrong. Honestly, when I first received this news, I thought maybe I got struck for one of my older, edgier videos, but upon further inspection, it turns out that I actually received a copyright strike from SSniperWolf. She took down one of my videos called Watching SSniperWolf Until I Laugh. Now, this was a 3-hour long video where I watched most of SSniperWolf's content, and the premise was she's not funny, so I'm just gonna like stay there and not laugh, pretty much.
Her content would not fit under a transformative argument under any circumstances. Fucking Saul Goodman wouldn't be able to make that argument in court on her behalf, because usually she just plays the entire TikTok that she's reacting to with no input, and then maybe afterwards says, geez, zoinks! Can you believe that? That's it. That's not transformative work, and it's just taking everyone else's content that she showcases. And she historically hasn't given credit. She doesn't compensate the creators whose work she takes. And then she has the chutzpah to strike One Giant Onion for reacting to her content. It's craziness. That is the epitome of hypocrisy.
I have said dozens of times that I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have this channel, and I seriously mean that. This is my only source of income, and this is my dream job, and I love it. And the community I have here is literally the only thing I have. And I just want to keep making videos on here that people enjoy watching, but right now my literal job is being threatened by SSSniperWolf of all people.
He's not exaggerating when he says that his job, like his whole livelihood, is being threatened by SSniperWolf in this strike. A strike is a huge deal. Like, it cannot be understated just how serious a strike is on a YouTube channel. And being able to make a living off of the internet content that you create is actually a dream job for the majority of people in the world. And as I've said hundreds of times, it boils down to getting lucky most of the time. It's like winning the fucking lottery, having some kind of successful online career that you can support yourself with. So when you get a strike that threatens that, that's obviously extremely scary, especially when you're someone like One Giant Onion, who really didn't do anything wrong. SSniperWolf should not have copyright struck him for reacting to her content, which isn't even really her content in the first place. And SSniperWolf has been on the platform for so long now, she knows just how special it is to be a content creator and how much a strike hurts that. Like, the kind of toll that takes. And yet she still went through with that. That is so fucking sad. That is heartless. It is heartless. It's not like she's some kind of corporate suit that doesn't really understand the YouTube ecosystem. She's been here for so long, she knows that a strike is like punching someone right in the fucking teeth. Like, it is brutal. And she still went through with it because his video hurt her feelings, I suppose. Yes, reacting to 3 hours worth of her content was probably not the best idea, but it should have never resulted in a strike to his channel because she is literally doing what he does, but broken up over the course of years and like 6 videos a week doing it, as opposed to 1 3-hour video on content she doesn't even own, thus shouldn't even have the right to copyright strike on behalf of. It's so fucking hypocritical. It's crazy to me how all of a sudden a bunch of YouTubers are starting to blatantly abuse the copyright system. Just in broad daylight now. They're getting so emboldened because YouTube hasn't taken any of them to court over the abuse of their system. I really hope YouTube does step up and actually do something to punish them in a big way for this, because this can't be allowed to continue. It's ridiculous. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit, and that's it. So yeah. I've got a huge twist for you today that's going to leave you more stunned than the first time you watched Fight Club. Last night I posted a video going over some more fraudulent strikes, which is becoming a huge issue that's plaguing the entire platform. It's an epidemic sweeping through. The first one was from the Manny Show. It's their second fraudulent strike that they've issued because their feelings get hurt. This one was automatically declined, which no doubt left Manny screaming into a pillow, kicking their feet in the air, wondering why no one likes them. The second strike I covered was one that was not declined, it fully went through, and it came from SSniperWolf. Or was it? Was it all just a ploy from the deep state to have us eating out of the palm of their hands as the New World Illuminati shadow government actually worked behind the scenes to frame SSniperWolf and she wasn't actually involved? Well, maybe not to that scale, but from all of the evidence I've seen now, it actually wasn't SSniperWolf who filed that strike, and it's a very complicated mess that highlights a very, very rare problem on YouTube that I very much would like to talk about. But let's go through the entire lore real quick. So, the story starts with a big YouTube channel named One Giant Onion talking about a strike they received in their channel for the video they made on SSniperWolf. He posted a 3-hour video that was all just a big joke. But it did use all of her content. Well, I don't think like all of it. It's not like he went through the entire Library of Alexandria here, gathering every single SSniperWolf video, but it used 3 hours worth. And it resulted in him getting a strike many months later. He went trick-or-treating and he got a fucking razor blade laced apple. So the strike is a huge deal. He posts this video kind of going over it and talking about the situation briefly, and the video stays up for 9 days. This isn't a small, obscure channel. This is a channel with almost 1 million subscribers, so a lot of people make some noise about this, wondering why SSniperWolf is bullying channels that are making fun of her. And she never responded to it or anything. I eventually caught wind of this, and I talked about it in the video I made last night about fraudulent strikes. It's the second video I made in like a week on it because it keeps happening. Now, after I posted that video, SSniperWolf went on Twitter to claim that she never issued that strike at all, which got me scratching at the hairs of my chinny chin chin, because it's exceptionally rare for someone to be able to successfully file a strike on behalf of someone else if they're not an agency. For all the shit that I and many others give YouTube to their automated system when it comes to strikes, they're actually pretty decent when it comes to fucking putting the wood on impersonator strikes. If someone is trying to claim your work and they're not associated with any reputable agency, or it's not actually someone associated with you, the strike is normally automatically declined. And what that means is basically what happened to Tech Lead and Manny Show for their most recent strike attempts, where YouTube says, hey, this is a load of dirty barnacles, we're not taking action, we just want to make you aware of it. That's what happens usually when someone tries to strike while not actually being the person associated with the content. Now, I can only think of 2 cases where an impersonator strike actually did go through, and one of them was with the Destiny 2 community a couple years ago, where a disgruntled gamer, a Destiny 2 enthusiast, went on this fucking rampage on YouTube striking innocent creators' works, and he filed all of them as if he was the official Bungie organization. He pretended to be the real Bungie, which ended up being a huge reputational hit to Bungie themselves, because people all thought it was Bungie. But really, it was just some goober LARPing as Bungie. He put on the suit and tie, tightened it up, and said, "It's time to go to work. I'm miserable, and I want to watch it all burn." So, that's what he tried to do, false flagging a ton of channels. Eventually, the sheriff on the block, Big Boy Bungie themselves, stepped in and fucked his face. They said, "Cowabunga, dude," and they let loose the legal dogs on him. It's something that is taken very seriously when you impersonate someone and strike others. It's illegal. You can't do that, which is why you don't see it very often. So, the other example, by the way, was Nintendo. It's happened with Nintendo in the past as well, though I can't remember what happened to the culprit in that case. So, some of you might remember from 2018, which I know is archaic at this point, that's fucking prehistoric by internet years, but in 2018, Alinity had that big meme about, we should copyright PewDiePie, should we copyright PewDiePie, whatever, where she was going to copyright strike PewDiePie because he was insulting her, and she was working with an agency called Collab DRM, who does strike on behalf of creators. Fast forward to 2024, there's plenty of agencies just like Collab DRM that do this, that do strikes on behalf of creators in order to take down re-uploads, or sometimes just bully others into not talking about something they don't want posted. It is a common practice in the industry. So I decided to really stick my nose into this pile of dog shit and get a huge whiff of the stink here, that odorous Methodist that every YouTuber is familiar with, the copyright strike system. I reached out to One Giant Onion to just send me all of the info about the strike, which he was more than willing to do, so I appreciate that. I'm not going to post a screenshot because they're not mine to post. That's up to One Giant Onion if he wants to talk deeper about it and show those. I'll just talk about what was there. So, the copyright strike was filed by an individual who claims to be representing an agency, a collaborative agency, that works with SSSniperWolf. So they were successfully able to file the strike based on the information that they are with this agency that represents SSSniperWolf, thus they have the right to enforce her copyright. This is a pretty common thing, like I mentioned. There are tons of scumbag vermin that do this, these corporate suits that take this action, and many agencies that make this a core part of their strategy. However, what's definitely not a core part of their strategy is having the agents that are filing these takedown requests and strikes use a fucking personal Gmail account. So that's where things immediately became very clear to me that this is probably straight up horseradish. The email account was someone's personal Gmail. They weren't using a company account. It was not a professional email. It was just random Joe Blow's Gmail account that they're probably subscribed to browsers through. And that is uncommon. Typically, when a strike is filed from a fucking agency, you'll see the email be from that agency. This was not the case in One Giant Onion's strike here. I was pretty sure after looking even deeper into the email that this was all a scam, a ruse. But I have no fucking clue what the motive would be for this. Since they didn't claim the video, they're not making the money from it. There's a scam through Spotify where some people will post audio and then copyright claim YouTubers that use that audio, even though it's just common sounds like Super Mario making a sound effect like wahoo, something like that. Common sound effects. You'll have people on Spotify upload that audio and then claim YouTubers to make the money from the videos they use, including that. Like, the motive there is clearly to make money through this scam. In this case, this fraudulent strike, this blatant abuse of the YouTube system, it seems like there's just nothing to gain. They took down the video, thus they're not making money from it. Like, like the only thing they gain is making SSSniperWolf look evil. So maybe it's something personal there, I have no clue. But I reached out to SSSniperWolf directly about this just to 100% confirm whether or not this agency represents her. I also could find no official mention of this agency ever working with SSSniperWolf, so I feel like any agency that would have a creator as large as her would be plastering that all over their marketing material. So this definitely seems like someone pretending to work at that agency and then filing this strike. But I reached out directly to SSSniperWolf just to 100% confirm whether or not she's associated with this group. She confirms she does not work with them at all, and even goes as far as to mention that this group has targeted her channel in the past as well. I also asked if she would be taking any action against them for the impersonation strikes, since it is illegal, and we have already seen a legal case from this with Bungie, as well as YouTube themselves doing this. I mention this all the time. YouTube dunked on a false flagger back in like 2019. They fucking ruined them, annihilated them, fucking eviscerated them for this kind of dog shit. So I asked if SSSniperWolf would be trying to take action. She talks about how they're a foreign company, so it's pretty hard. And she's right. Since it is a foreign entity, her options are kind of limited there. So it's going to really be up to YouTube to solve this issue. Apparently this group has done this multiple times in the past, and now they've just done it again. So it looks like the only option to save the day is going to be sending up the bat signal and hoping YouTube will put on the cape and shut this group down, and maybe they will pursue something legally against them, because this is an issue that is spiraling out of control now. YouTubers abusing the copyright system we've seen multiple times now, Tech Lead and The Manny Show, as well as a couple others in the past. And now SSSniperWolf being framed for being one by a completely separate third party that has no association with her. That's a huge problem. If impersonator strikes are going to start to go through, that's going to lead to complete fucking pandemonium. That's really about it. See ya.